everybody. Good afternoon and welcome along to the Rangers Rabble podcast. This is your post-match reaction. Rangers 5, Fraserburgh 0. A result that was never really in any doubt. Let's be brutally honest. Fraserburgh came and gave it their all. Highland League team, fair play. And you know, I don't know if I was just caught up in the whole Scottish Cup drama thingy. But I think, see, after it went about 3-0, I says to myself, do you know, and you should never hope this against your own team. I hope they just get one goal. Just one wee goal. That would be brilliant for them. And I'm not saying that in a patronising way or anything like that. Just my thoughts anyway. Anyways, please like, share and subscribe, get your comments in. I am joined by Alex and Craig. Alex, how are you?
I'm good, mate. I just fresh off the watch along, so right back in for the reaction. But good game to watch. Bit of a struggle in the first half, but I think just showed how well Fraserburgh were there to defend. They were really organised, but I think as the game went on, they just got more and more tired. The gap started opening, but no, great game.
Listen, I've seen better teams come to Ibrox and no play as well as what Fraserburgh did, to be fair to them. So, no, absolutely fair play to Fraserburgh. Craig, how you doing, mate?
All good, mate. Yeah, I had a good, productive morning, but yeah, and sat down to watch the Rangers game, and they did what they needed to do. But yeah, first half was a bit of a slog. I know that Alex said they seemed to tire second half. I think first half we sort of played into their hands a little bit with get the ball wide and put it into the box, which they were going to eat up all day long. But yeah, all in all, the game wasn't in doubt. But I agree with you. I think if they'd have got one, then it would have probably made their day even better.
Aye, it would have. And look, it was. Alex, let's be brutally honest about it. It was a training session, which, look, you're not expecting anything else, really, when a Highland League club comes to town. It might have been slightly different had it been in their backyard, smaller pitch, and all that sort of stuff. But at Ibrox, did we expect anything else?
No, I don't think we did expect anything else. I think there's got to be credited to Fraserburgh as their away support. That crowd that they brought today was tremendous. They put a lot of Premiership teams to shame with the amount of people they actually took, and they stayed for the full 90. They cheered their team on. But yeah, I think training session's probably the most accurate description of that game. But it could have been a lot worse if Munn had gifted them the goal in the first half.
Nerves. Boy's only 18. Nerves.
Oh, definitely. He was a young boy thrown into it, and we had a bit of a debate in the watch along about it, but he is a young boy, but he was thrown into it, and I think he did pretty well. He took the game too well. His distribution was pretty good as well. Didn't seem like he was struggling, but I think just that one little mistake is what many folk might want to talk about, but no, I thought he had a good game. He was all right.
Obviously, look, there's difference in levels of fitness and stuff like that, not just quality and stuff, but Dessers looked like an Olympic sprinter compared to Fraserburgh, which just shows you I suppose, the difference in levels. I mean, there's a few things to take out the game, like, we'll maybe come on to it later. Should King just come on when instead of Ridvan coming on? Should he just not bring King on? Should Bailey Rice have... In fact, Craig, I'll start off with, were you surprised when you seen the starting lineup?
Yeah, I saw the starting lineup. I was just out of the shop when it popped up my phone, and I thought I'll look at that in a second, and I'll see how many names there that I actually recognise from the B team. And it was like, okay, we got Munn, who actually I think that might have actually been his first touch when he played that ball. So I'm not surprised that he had a few nerves. But yeah, I was expecting a few bit more rotation. I think the back four, I was very surprised. The back four was actually the back four we've seen quite regularly. And I was going to say, I think when I saw that Ridvan was coming on, my initial thoughts was, well, that clearly still shows what the manager thinks of Leon King. But then obviously Leon King does come on for Tav. But yeah, if you're going to do it, you'd bring King on for proper and then bring Ridvan on for Tav. I don't understand why you would shift Tav inside to centre back for however long it was. But yeah, I was quite surprised. I was hoping that Rice, maybe not Curtis. I thought maybe Rice and King would have at least started.
I mean, is there an argument, though, Alex, that Clement can make to say, well, look, I'm going to keep the match fitness in the legs of certain players before Thursday. I don't want to rest my full team. Is there maybe an argument for that?
I think there's an argument for that, but I think Scott Arfield obviously said it at the start of the game. This is a cup that Clement has to win. he's going to need to get a trophy, and this is realistically the only one he's going to get from domestically this season. So I think there's obviously something in that as well, that he's came out and he's tried to get the game put to bed before bringing on the young boys. But I do think that it would have been an argument to see them start, because they came on and they looked no different to some of the boys that were actually on the pitch. Bailey Rice looked very, very good when he came on. Curtis looked good. He was actually right up to speed, had a good few shots, could have got himself a goal. Bit surprised that he was brought on for Lovelace. I'd like to see Lovelace get the 90, but I think Clement's obviously, he's the man in charge. He's going to make the decisions, but I think we can't argue that the boys got time today and they actually showed what they can do, and it puts a lot more confidence that these boys probably could be put on the bench, given a lot more game time, because they're not as bad as what we're led to believe by Clement when he's only saying that Bailey Rice is the man that's going to be introduced to the dressing room. These other boys showed that they can play.
I didn't know that Man U lost 3-1 at home to Brighton today. I did not know that.
They did. And Everton beat Tottenham 3-2.
Well, that's going to make for an interesting EPL show tomorrow night.
They were 3-0 up as well, Everton.
They were right. They were 3-0 up. Everton were right. And Nottingham Forest won 3-2 as well.
Nottingham Forest won again. There we go.
They won 3-2 against Southampton.
You can tell this is a cup reaction, can't you, against a lower league team that we're talking about, the EPL. And do you know what? Something that we never ever do on the reaction, but we might give a wee quick line or whatever to the opposition team. But Craig, I don't know what my brother's just signed with Peterhead, so I don't know if I've just got on loan, I should say. So I don't know if I've just got, and I was up at Peterhead yesterday, by the way. Really, really good. I really enjoyed it. Do you know, I told this story before. The very first time I went to Peterhead, it was years ago. My best mate, I liked Berwick, he liked Peterhead, and we went up. And I went through the gates, and the first thing I said, obviously Rangers fan, never been to a low league game in my life. Walked through the door, and I went, "Where's the away end?" And there was no such thing as an away end. There is now up at Peterhead, to be fair. But let's give some credit, Craig, shall we, to Fraserburgh. Highland League team, some journey, some jaunt all the way down. And I know because I was there yesterday, and when I got home, I fell asleep on the couch. Absolutely done themselves proud, done their supporters proud, done their town proud.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, for them, even if they got beat 10-0 today, that's probably better than they expected, obviously being from the Highland League. Considering the our B team obviously give them a good game. I think the fact they've come away with a 5-0 win, they'll be absolutely delighted. Because ultimately it was a no-lose situation for them. Obviously, they're going back up the road with some decent money. Obviously, the crowd was a lot more than I think a lot of people were expecting. But yeah, it was a good day for them. I'm sure they'll be sat on their coach and buses and cars on their way home, reminiscing for years to come.
And you know, like, they never gave us any real problems at all, Alex. To be honest. But I don't know. I like it when a team comes and just absolutely gives it all. I think we've actually seen Premier League teams come to Ibrox and sit deeper than what Fraserburgh did.
100%. I said it during the watch along. There was a lot of teams that have come and played a lot poorer. Fraserburgh gave themselves a good account. I'm just surprised that they're only 5th in the Highland League, because they played really, really well today. They can actually be proud of themselves. They didn't put in a bad performance. The young boy that was in 6th year, I think it was Aaron that told he's in 6th year and he came on. He's going to be buzzing at school in the morning when he goes back and tells the boys he got on a game at Ibrox. So he's going to be happy. But I think that they did themselves proud. They can't even go home disappointed that they lost. They didn't expect to come and get anything, but they made a good account of themselves in that pitch today. Putting some good few challenges. They pressed the ball and they just kept running. There didn't seem a point where their heads dropped and they thought, "Oh, game's gone." They just kept running and they kept coming at Rangers.
Well, how do you pronounce it, CGM? It's Peterhead, isn't it? That's what
I'm not getting involved because I get slugged on the EPL show, so I'm not getting involved.
That's the way I've. Is it? Would Peterhead?
I would only say Peterhead.
I know, but you're English, so it's Peterhead. Peter Reid for Peterhead is the Volvo for sale. Still one of the best things I've ever heard in my life. Absolutely love it. Craig, we scored for a corner. I mean, I don't care who it's against. We scored for a corner, Craig. Talk me through it.
It should have been the second goal of the afternoon.
Who cares about that? Talk me through the corner, Craig. I'm so excited.
It was, even the enigma that is Dessa's couldn't miss that one. Laid on a plate for him. He had one a bit earlier, I think, when Tav played the ball sort of across the ground to him, and he did have a strike. But yeah, he couldn't really miss. But hopefully that's a sign of things to come, that we score from a few more corners. I mean, Man United Thursday, I mean, they're not the potentially the best at set pieces, so we'll see.
I mean, you can see, I think Fraserburgh team are all blue noses. It was all Rangers scarves in the away end. Every time it cut to the away end, they were all wearing Rangers scarves. Absolutely love it. I know, look, I will get people's views on McCausland, Ian. Don't worry, we will discuss individual players. Don't you panic. I mean, look, it's a free header in the middle of the box. But Dessers does, Alex, what Dessers does. He misses an easy chance, comes back and scores. Was that 16 goals now this season for Cyril Dessers?
Do we have to talk about that chance that he missed?
No, we don't. No, we just move on and we go with the things that he scored.
But it was a good finish. Listen, the players obviously not marked him. He's not really had to move. I think he walked 2 steps in front of himself and he's got a head on the ball and he's just tapped it in the back of the net. But it's a good finish from Dessers, and I think it obviously gives him the confidence to keep going, because then he obviously finishes the game on a hat-trick. He gets 3 goals and an assist today. He's made a good account of himself, but a lot of the chat was, is he going to stay? And he's obviously going to play on Thursday, because we've obviously not got Danilo, so Iggerman's going to have to play with no Hadji, so Dessers will play on Thursday, so he's got a bit of confidence going into there. Good goal against Aberdeen, a hat-trick today against Fraserburgh. Can he keep it up?
Yeah, and Alex, so like the rest of the first half is what the first half is.
Right.
It's a team coming pumped up, trying their hardest, running about like heedless chickens, trying to stop us. Second half, it all comes crashing down. The fitness in the end shows. About 7 minutes into the second half, or whatever it is, Alex, Nsiala, all right, it takes a wee tiny deflection, but absolutely delighted for the boy. You know, people here, when we run things like this and we discuss players, I think a lot of people just assume that whatever your thoughts or your comments is on a player, that regardless of what that player does, your opinion doesn't change. It absolutely does change. And the B team didn't pull up any trees, to be honest, but he's come into this Rangers first team. His passing's on point, his defending's on point, and I'm absolutely delighted that he got his goal.
He's got absolutely no fear, and you can see that from this year. He just runs at the players. He'll take the ball, he'll stride forwards, he'll put passes, and obviously he got man of the match today. He was the sponsors man of the match, and it was a great performance. But what a strike! I think the fact the ball's come to him a lot of times when a defender, even a centre back, gets in that position to look for the pass rather than hitting a shot, and you could just see he was lining it up. As soon as the ball comes to him, he's lining it up for a shot. Takes a lot of deflection, but it was always going to go in, and just a great goal. You're happy that he's actually getting a very good run out, because he's a man that you can see actually being here, coming up from the B team. Didn't have the greatest performance, obviously getting sent off for hooking another player doesn't set you up for any chance of getting into the first team. But then a bit of an injury crisis at centre back, gets his opportunity, and he's took it with both hands. He really has.
Yeah, he absolutely has. And Jerry Hardy, channel member, excuse me, has put in a massive super chat there, Craig. Worth a super chat to witness Nsiala's first goal and the promise of youngsters Finlay Curtis and Bailey Rice. We'll come to Curtis and Rice soon, Craig, but regardless of who it's against, you never forget your first goal for your club, do you?
No, I got his first assist a few days earlier and then his first goal. It's just a bit frustrating that he obviously can't play on Thursday. I think Nsiala, I think, is one of these players that potentially, I think it's been said in the pod last couple of weeks, that with better players around him, he obviously raises his game a bit. Obviously, we've been told he didn't really pull up many trees in the B team. That could have been a sort of attitude of, well, I'm in the B team, maybe I should be playing a bit higher than this. It could be that attitude, but obviously every bit I've seen of him so far, he's obviously slotted in quite well. And yeah, when he obviously got that goal today, the one thing that we moan about, we don't seem to have shots from outside the box, and obviously the probably the unlikeliest player to do it. And Nessa's in the bottom corner. Yeah,
and look, obviously, Alex, we've got Dessers gets another couple. McCausland, we'll talk about the Dessers third goal in a second, by the way, because I think that's actually a much better finish. then he's. I mean, that miss for the first chance miss. How you can then go on and score a goal like that, right? It blows my tiny wee brain, right? McCausland getting on the score sheet, but Alex, I thought there was quite a bit. He showed quite a bit of aggression today for me, Ross.
He was he was a bit of a chalk and cheese player today, to be fair. A lot of players thought he played very, very poor in the first half. His touch was quite poor and he wasn't able to get into it. Second half, he seemed to get a bit more into it. Obviously, he's got a goal. He looked like he was more up for it, to be fair, and he actually just ran at players. I think the tired legs helped him out, but it was good position to be in for wee Ross. Great ball across from Dessers, and he's just tapped that way. 9 times out of 10, you see our players and they blaze that over the bar. They put it into the stand. So Ross has actually taken his opportunity there and got a good goal. What I would like to see is him get that consistency up. But with the way Czerny's playing, I think that right-hand side is nailed down for Czerny, and McCausland's going to find it difficult to come back in.
No, he absolutely is. And I don't think it's fair to judge any player, whether it's a youth player or whether it's somebody who's on the cusp of the first team or even a first team player in games like this. These are no-win games, if you get what I mean. You know, if Rangers won 10-0 today, it would be, right, well, it's a Highland League team. If Rangers win 5-0, it's, well, maybe you could have scored a few more. If a player plays really well, but it's a Highland League team. If a player doesn't play well, it's, well, you should have played well, it's a Highland League team. But Craig, with all that said, what did you make of Ross today? Look, he has, I think, maybe I'm being generous to him when I say split the support in terms of, is he good enough? Is he not good enough? Did you see anything today for Ross that says to you, no, do you know what? Good squad player.
Yeah, I mean, he's one of those players that can come in and do a job when you need him to. Is he going to be the sort of first starter for Rangers? Probably not. I think, unfortunately for Ross, he was in and out of the game, and he's in and out of a lot of games like most wingers are. The problem that Ross has got is that he got his chance because Lovelace come in and got injured. So Ross was suddenly thrust into the team. At that point, he was the only right winger that we had, so he sort of got quite a lot of games. Started off really well and has some flashes of brilliance, but unfortunately, whenever he doesn't then show that same level of consistency, which is going to be tough for him because he's been in and out of the team. Obviously, Czerny's been playing and nailing down that position. So Ross must be thinking, actually, I'll get a chance. And to be fair to him, he's probably thinking today, no matter how well I play today, whether I play good or bad, I'm not going to be playing at Old Trafford on Thursday. Czerny's going to be back in the team. So, and a lot of players will have that mentality, and it's whether it's right or wrong is for people to argue, but it's natural to think, well, actually, what's the point of me having a good game? And he was in and out of the game. He didn't have a very good first half, but let's be honest, not a lot of the players really impressed. I think if the manager had taken, I think I said in the WhatsApp group, if the manager had taken a couple of them off and not swapped them for anyone, would we have noticed a massive difference? But yeah, I do feel sorry for Ross, but I think he is the sort of player that can play the likes of Dundee United, no disrespect to those teams, and do a job. And probably there's been an over reliance on Czerny, and maybe Ross needs to get a few more opportunities. But yeah, he wasn't great, but I'm not going to hold that against him.
Disrespect all you want. Absolute disrespect all you want for those teams. No problem at all. Listen, question for you. How can you be angry at this guy? Look at that face. Right? Genuinely, how can you be angry?
What a smile.
Very, very easily.
Does he not just come across, though, as like the nicest guy in the world?
He does.
I know nice guys don't win you trophies, right? But Alex, I actually liked that when Tav was going off, whether Dessers leaves in January or not, I don't know. I liked him getting the captaincy.
It was a weird one to give him the captain's armband, but there's probably nobody else on the pitch to give it to. So you're probably going to give it to Dessers, but I think it's the thing with Dessers is it's a love and hate into it, but he's not going to get the minutes he wants. He obviously wants to be starting every game, and you've got a 22-year-old Iggy who is firing all cylinders right now. You're not going to get in front of him. Danilo's even in front of you, and he's made a chocolate right now. He's not going to get anything at all. So how you get in front is an issue, but he's obviously not happy being third choice striker. So I think right now, getting 3 goals today, he'll play against Man United. He might do something there. It's just going to get his stock up to go in January, because I think that's the time to let him go, is now before it gets to the end of the season, because I don't think we're going to be able to sell him then if we don't sell him now.
Right. it's not a modelling gig, Blue Nose Bob, right? I get that. If it was a modelling gig, but he'd be the best player at the club. We all, we've all got to be honest about that. No, do you know what? He's not good. He's not good enough long term. Albeit he's 16 goals this season, right? But when it counts, when it matters in the big moments, you can't rely on him. I understand that. I hate to see any player not work at Rangers. I want every single player to work at Rangers, and he's a really nice guy, and it seems as if he's got a heart of gold, and it's just a shame for him that it hasn't worked out. I mean, 16 goals. But however, Craig, Zach Lovelace, somebody who we've been crying out for to get a start, managed to get that. Today, thoughts on Zach?
Similar to Ross McCausland, was in and out of the game, had little moments, but it's kind of, you can't really judge him too highly against a Highland League team, because if he has a bad game, then you put it down to the opposition. If he has a really good game, he should be. I think again he's probably suffering from a bit of lack of match fitness, lack of minutes in the first team. And I'll be honest, if someone had said to me before the game, we're going to have a couple of B team players in, Lovelace wouldn't have been one of the couple that I would have picked. I would have imagined the Bailey Royce would have been. So he's kind of thrown in a little bit out of nowhere. But again, can't really fault his effort. But I don't think he's going to be knocking down the manager's door at the minute to get any minutes sort of in the first team going forward.
Yeah, and look, I think the Trying Scotsman's spot on. Look, captaincy hat trick. What a way to go if Dessers leaves us. He'll go with my thanks, even if he really isn't good enough. And that's where I am. That's exactly where I am. Yeah, absolutely, 100%. There was another couple of comments that I wanted to bring up, but I can't really find them. Aaron Taylor, Alex is saying it's a shame he get taken off. I don't know. I think we've seen in the past that when Zach's in the first team, he's been a wee bit injury prone. I don't know if maybe that played into the manager's head when he was bringing him off. I mean, Finlay Curtis came on in that position, and I get it. Fraserburgh were really, really tiring by that point, but came on and looked the part and done well. Would you have liked to have seen Zach get the full 90?
I think it'd have been good for Zach to get the full 90 and maybe take off McCausland, because they both went on the best game at that point. But all credit to Curtis when he came on. He actually made a good account of himself. He obviously had a few opportunities, could have scored, but it's just a shame that he can't play more youth. It's like 1-for-1 rather than bringing on youth for obviously a senior team player. So if you're bringing on youth, they need to be on for a first team player who needs a rest, because we obviously got that game against Man United. But I agree with Craig. I don't think he was in the game enough to justify staying on for the 90. He didn't really do anything. He had a few opportunities where he could have ran forward and he hit it at the player, or he wasn't troubling the keeper as much. So I think it probably was the right call to take him off. But the only way a player's going to get better is getting more minutes. If you're only giving them sporadic minutes throughout the season, they're not going to get the best. But he obviously got 6 of the day, but didn't do enough to actually warrant staying on anymore for me.
Yeah, I mean, Finlay Curtis, I'll come straight back to you, Alex. Finlay Curtis, what did you think?
I think he was actually quite good today, to be fair. Curtis, when he came on, when he wanted to come on. Obviously, every player does, but he wanted to show what he can do. He had a few good opportunities, that he hit straight at the goalie, but there were shots with power. There was determination there. Bailey Rice had another one as well, but I think Curtis is one that you can see for the future. If we get maybe an injury on that that left hand side, Curtis looks like a player that could fill it no problem. But again, they need to be spending time on the bench and getting these opportunities, even if it's only 5-10 minutes at the end of the game, Martin. But right now they're not even getting anything. They're barely getting on the bench. To be fair, to get that opportunity, we're putting players on that we're not using. So we're putting on the likes of Matondo, Dowell, Cortez, who's injured again, but they're not getting used, or they're unused subs. Let the boys get on the bench and at least maybe have the opportunity to come on. If there's 5-10 minutes left, the game's gone, bring them on. I don't see the harm in at least giving them a run out.
I should say, obviously, that Rangers are playing Celtic in the semi-final, the SWPL semi-final. I went on to BBC Sports Scotland on Twitter to see if the manager's post-match had been released yet. And the first thing I seen was, should Celtic have had a penalty? Clicked off. Because, yeah, obviously they shouldn't have. I haven't seen it, but clearly it wasn't a penalty. So, absolutely. I mean, do you know what, Craig? For me, he looked lively. confident. He was doing his best to get a goal. Young Finlay, he was trying to make things happen.
Yeah, which is what you want from a young player coming on. So the last thing you want is for that player to sort of go into his shell a bit, especially when the game is, for all intents and purposes, done. You obviously want him to come on and be positive. I think similar to other players we've had in the past, they come on and they've got no fear. They go straight at it, which is good to see. Similar for Bailey Royce, I was absolutely gutted because I thought that shot Bailey Royce had was gonna nestle in the top corner, and obviously the keeper saved it. It would have been a great. And I think Curtis then had a strike straight after. I was just hoping one of them would get a goal and basically top their day.
I mean, yeah, I should say it's half time. Rangers 0, Celtic 0. And that semi-final. Len Zapaldo super chat. Thank you very much, my friend. Thank you for the support along with Jerry. I've said for ages Big Dessers will show his potential as a top class Highland League player. That's added a fiver to his value. Well done. Whether that's sarcasm or not, Alex, that's harsh.
It's harsh, but I did say in the game that's probably Desser's transfer value up to £55, 55 pence. So let's get him going. So that's probably where the fivers come from. But listen, he's obviously done well today. He doesn't look like a man that needs the confidence to go for it. He obviously missed the opportunity in the first half, but he's kept going, got himself a goal, and then kept going. When he's on that too, you don't think that Kurtz is going to come on for Dessers. He's going to keep him on, gets the hat trick, and he's obviously had a good day at the office wearing the armband. But I think it's harsh. We're going to obviously sell him on this in the January transfer window, but it's for how much, because we need to make some money off him. And he's a player that can score as well. We've shown that, as you're saying, 16 goals this season. It's the amount of opportunities he takes to get the goal that can be an issue. You know, if he's taking 3-4 opportunities to get one, I think that's where the frustration comes in with Rangers fans, because he takes so many and he can make an easy chance look so hard. But then a shot that you think that's not going in finds a way in the back of the net when Dessers hits it. I think that's probably where a lot of the frustration actually does come from.
Yeah, just in terms of pure minutes, Alex. Connor Barron, who I thought played well. I thought he broke stuff up, but he done his job at the back. He needed the minutes today, didn't he? He really, really needed the minutes.
He needed them today because I think he's going to be the man that plays from the off on Thursday, with Diamandes obviously suspended for that game. So he's going to have to play alongside Raskin for then. So he needed the full 90. I don't think he can not have minutes today, because he's the minutes have dropped quite drastically for Barron as late, because Raskin's had such good form that he's then been paired with Dio, and Barron's kind of been left a bit. To be fair though, when Barron has come on of late, he's not looked the greatest. So he did need the minutes today just to get a bit of confidence back on, and I think he's shown that he's got that today.
Diamande, Craig, I don't know if maybe it was just a case of, well, this is going to be easy. He wasn't really in the game, to be honest. Thought he was quite off it.
Yeah, I think that can probably be put down to a bit of complacency, which we do have a tendency to do that, where we think, oh, this is going to be an easy game, and don't really put the effort in. Yeah, I mean, I think at one point I actually forgot that he was actually playing. So he wasn't really at it. But Diamandi is the type of player that will probably now go out on Thursday. And I mean, obviously he's not available Thursday. We'll probably go out the next European game that he's available for and have a worldie. He seems to raise his game for those big games. But yeah, it wasn't really at it today, which surprised me, because he is a good footballer on his day. But I think it's just a bit of attitude that and taking the game for what it was.
If Zian Dillon says, if he goes, you bet thousands of Rangers fans will track Desser's career. I certainly will. I'll certainly track Desser's career. I hope he goes on to do brilliant things. I can't find the comment right, but it was along the lines of, there we go. Craig, the Blue Nose Bob. How many sore faces did they with the ball hitting them? Popper had a nice pack on the bench. Everybody just seemed to be getting smacked in the face with the ball.
Yeah, it was one of those games. I think, yeah, you get that. I mean, I think one of their boys took one first half and sort of seemed to stumble. But yeah, I wouldn't fancy that ball hitting me straight at the face, especially how cold it would have been today. But yeah, not for me.
I'm on mute. That's terrible. Alex, Do you know who scored the first goal against Real Madrid today?
Saw that, mate. It popped up on the watch along. Fabio Silva.
27 seconds. 27 seconds.
Mental. And then they get beat 4-1 in the end. But listen, 27 seconds, Fabio Silva's getting a goal. We said that he's a good player.
Bring him home. Bring him home, Alex. Bring him home.
But there's just his theatrics into it with Fabio Silva. I think when you look at him, we've spoken about it in the watch long, loves a dive, and his attitude always wasn't there at Rangers, but obviously getting a goal against Real Madrid to his confidence very, very well at Las Palmas. Just bring him home, get him in. Can we just swap Dessers for Fabio Silva? Just a straight swap.
I mean, I'm sure Las Palmas will be up for that. Because Dessers scores more goals than Fabio Silva.
He does.
So you'd probably be absolutely up for it. Alex, in terms of the central midfield, Diamande comes off, Bailey Rice comes on. Bailey Rice, who is almost becoming one of those players that his stock seems to rise the longer he's not in the team. But he is a class player. You can see it. I don't care if it's against the 9th league in Scotland or in the top league in Scotland. You can see the quality that he has. He's got an eye for a pass, the space he creates for himself, and he's got a good shot on him. Somebody who I definitely want to see involved in this Rangers team going forward.
100%. I don't want him just involved, just sitting in the dressing room and being on the bench. I actually want to see him get minutes because he just looks up for it. A bit of a worry when he came on. He was another one that got smacked with the ball straight away.
And a minute on the park, smashed in the dish.
Straight away smashed. It looked like he was off because he was getting the concussion test and everything. So a bit worried for him, but no, came on and then he has that shot and you think you just want it to go in. I know every player you want to score a goal, but if anybody needs a goal, it'd have been Bailey Rice. I think it would have been brilliant for him, but he just needs more minutes. I think he's shown that he's got the quality. Why he's able to play in a Europa League game before he's able to play for the first team. He played in the Europa League, and then his next game is against Fraserburgh in the Cup. What's that say about how much the manager wants him to play? It's just a bit of a mad one. But
he should have got longer, Alex. He should have got longer on the park.
To be fair, I think it could have been a game that you've seen Barron and Rice from the start. And I don't know why he went from Dio. Dio needs a rest. He's obviously not going to play against Man United, so he's not going to play another game until Dundee United. So what would have been the harm giving Barron and Rice a start? He obviously wanted to play Lovelace and Munn. Why not more youth? I thought it would have been better to see him coming on and actually getting the full 90 rather than a cameo half an hour. But that half an hour he's shown that he's actually got something about him and he needs to play a lot more minutes than just a sporadic sub.
He's definitely a creative playmaker in the middle of the park. I'll come to you, right, Craig, in a wee second on him. But Ian, who remembers at school football getting whacked full on the face with a rubber miter football? Yes. Even if you get hit in the leg, like it was there for days, the mark. And I don't know if I think Alex is younger than me. I can't remember. I know Craig's older, right? Because Craig's quite an old man. Do you remember when the Predis first came out with the wee bits on the front of the boot, and everybody thought because it had the wee rubber things, it made you hit the ball harder? Do you remember when they came out with the red and black, the Predis? Well, when somebody ran up with a pair of them on and whacked a miter ball at you full in the face, Craig, that was sore.
Yeah, or the back of the legs when you weren't expecting it was the one as well. Yeah, it was. I think I'm actually the oldest one on the pod, so today anyway, which is quite depressing, but.
Nobody's older than Will.
No, that is very true.
Oh, is that you finished on the Predis tonight, Paul? I thought we were going to keep that going. Right, fair enough. You still want to talk about it? All right, whatever. We'll move on. All these nowadays fancy balls that float about. Anybody can be a footballer now. Just finishing up on Bailey Rice, Craig. He's certainly somebody who needs minutes. Desperate for minutes. Not B team minutes, not under 18s minutes, not Glasgow Cup minutes. He needs minutes in the first team.
Yeah, not Fraserburgh minutes. He needs proper minutes going forward. I think the fact we've got obviously two what you'd say holding midfielders in Barron and Raskin. Obviously we've got Diamande. Rice, I think, could do either one of those roles in the middle. He could play as the number 6. He could play as the number 8. I would very much hope that the manager will back up what he said and have Rice around the first team, and having him around the first team doesn't then mean that the first game he's available. He's not even on the bench. He's just at the stadium like he was last week. he needs to be having proper minutes. And the games where we've got teams that, with all intents and purposes, we should be putting away quite easily. Be interesting to see who we get in the next round of the cup. He needs minutes to progress. There's just absolutely no point having a Kieran Dowell in front of him, even on the bench. And hopefully the fact that Dowell and Matondo weren't even in the squad today might indicate that they're both soon to be out the door, all being well. But yeah, Royce can contribute, but he needs the opportunity to contribute.
Yeah, he absolutely does. And I know I said that's the last I'll speak about him. If I'm being honest, Alex, hindsight's 2020 and all that, right? Whatever they say about hindsight and stuff. He should have started, shouldn't he? He should have been starting. And you know what? I get proper playing. I understand that, a bit of experience. Nsiala's still young, but there was no reason why Nsiala and King couldn't have started today either, to be brutally honest.
I said it during the watch along build up with Aaron, that we should have seen King and Nsiala, because they needed that partnership. King's confidence isn't the best right now. He's taking a bit of a beating from the team, and people are not wanting to play. Perfect game to get him in. And Bailey Rice should have started. There was no reason to go as full strength as we did. I think that's a bit of panic on Clement's side, that we need to progress into the next round of the cup. But the players that we had on the pitch, even if you make them a sub, would have been a lot better. But the fact that we didn't start with much more youth, we could have put Curtis on. We started with Curtis, Lovelace, Munn and Rice, and then put King as well. I just don't see why they didn't get the opportunity to go from the start. I think they should have been, but we're sitting here 5-0 up into the next round. We just need to hope that we get an opponent that Clement will look at and go, right, can we get the youth on from the start rather than having to rely on
Bailey Rice needs to play in the Premier League. Well,
he does.
The SPFL.
He does. He does, because what will happen is, if he doesn't, somebody's either going to snap him up on a cutthroat price, or he's going to go out and loan and do it there, and then he's going to get bought. But there's absolutely no reason why Bailey Rice cannot play against Dundee United. In all honesty, I don't see why he can't.
I mean, he won't.
No, he won't.
He absolutely won't. But he could. In my opinion, he could.
There's an argument for Dundee United away, but the following week we got Ross County at home. There's no reason why Bailey Rice can't play in that game.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Quick question, Alex. Gordon Bain wants to know if you're a Quaker.
What's a Quaker?
What do you mean, what's a Quaker? Have you never had Quaker's Oats?
No. What? There you go.
A Quaker?
Not a clue what you're talking about.
Like a ridiculously old school farmer, like the Amish.
Oh, right. Well, there you go. No, mate. No, I'm no Amish, but there you go.
What's a Quaker? What age are you?
Not a clue what you're talking about. You've lost me there.
So you're definitely not a Quaker, is what you're telling me.
No, mate, no.
No,
well, you can't be, because you've got a computer, so you definitely can't be a Quaker.
And they don't drink, so I'm sure Alex can't fall in that category.
No, Alex doesn't drink. He just drinks Monster, like 18 cans a day.
The diluting juice today, to be fair. I've avoided the Monster.
Right.
It all day.
Before we go, right, I want both your thoughts on it, Alex. I'll come to you first. The Quakers invented matches? Really? I didn't know that. New signing, right? Raphael Fernandez, right? Now, I want your opinion on him. I'm seeing 13 games, 18 games. I'm not 100% sure. He's not played many professional games. Come into Rangers. There's an option to buy on loan till the end of the season. Thoughts? 6'3" centre back.
I think he could get game time. He's obviously going to get it. I think the way that Proper's going, he's obviously had a few knocks now, to be fair. That's one to the eye. He had one at the shoulder midweek there. Obviously, Suter's still out. King looks like he's not favoured at all. So there's a shout that maybe you're going to get Fernandez and Nsiala. The issue you've got is that he's not got very many games under his belt. Is he going to play B-team games to get him back in? Like, we're going to play warm-up and take a couple of months to get him in, and then by that point his loan's finished and we panic buy, because that's usually the Rangers way. Right now we'll panic buy and we'll buy him and then he's actually not good. But I think that give him a couple of games in the next round of the cup, maybe, but by the looks of it, he's going to need to come in a lot sooner than that, with Proper obviously looking like he's carrying a few knocks now. I could see him coming in, and if he's decent, then it'll be a good buy for Rangers. I don't know what the fee is though to buy him.
Idea. No
I've
idea.
not a clue. So hopefully it's not as much, being that he's a young guy, but coming from Lille, not played many games in France. Be interesting to see if we actually pick him up.
I mean, London's saying he scored a ridiculous amount of goals at Sporting B, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just to make it clear, Craig. But again, I'll come back to my initial point. Not played a lot of games to come into a club like ours, and you have to win every single week, and he's not got a lot of experience.
No, I think to give him a bit of an out, I did read yesterday that somebody posted online that the reason he's not played a lot for Lille, I think the last couple of years they've had quite a decent, consistent centre-back pairing. So he's not really had the opportunity to come in. They've been quite consistent. I think, was it Yoro that went to Man United? I think he was there last season as one of their centre-backs, and they've obviously replaced him with a new centre-back, and he just hasn't really had the opportunity to come in. But I'm quite excited. I mean, 6'3", he adds a little bit of what we're missing in terms of height at the back. Hopefully, a little bit of physicality. But yeah, I'm quite happy. Yes, obviously it's not an obligation to buy. So obviously we'll see how he looks at the end of the season. But when I saw it yesterday, the fact that he was a centre back first, he got me very excited because I thought we desperately need a centre back. But yeah, it kind of come out the blue, which I think I dropped it on the chaps just about to do the random rabble that he'd signed, and they had to do a very quick Google search at 2 minutes past 11 to find out what was going on.
I've never seen him play.
No, I've never seen him play. But no, we'll see. And all being well, he's a fine like a Bassi or an Nsiala seems to be.
I mean, Aldo in the comments is right. He's a unit. He's a massive boy. He's an absolute unit. But Alex, official magical bike ride. Nsiala didn't have any experience. How's he doing? Well, he's doing well because he's got experience next to him. In my opinion, albeit look, he's making the right passes. He's making the right decisions. He's doing really well. But it could come a point where you've got Nsiala next to Fernandez. I've actually forgot his name.
Fernandez, yeah, you're right. Fernandez, yep.
21 and 23, not a lot of experience between them as your centre-back pairing.
I think there could be a good centre-back pairing, but the question I'd be asking is what happens with John Suter? Who do you then take out of that pairing? If they start getting a good pairing in, Fernandez and Nsiala, and then Suter comes back from an injury, you're going to drop one. So which one is it you drop? There's the player you've got in a permanent or a player you've got on loan? Because obviously we've only got an option to buy Fernandez, whereas we've got Nsiala. You've got to say though, Nsiala, he didn't have much game time, but he has come into the main team because we needed him in, and he's hit the ground running. Yes, he's had a few tests, but he's actually done very well. I would like to see Fernandez get in, maybe gets minutes. If we're doing well against Dundee United, he gets minutes, but it'll be interesting to see his first game and how he actually performs, because we've got a busy couple of games coming up, some games that we really need to win. So do you take the chance and put in a very inexperienced centre-back who's not played many professional games? Do you put him in?
Well, he's also got an injury record apparently as well. That I don't know much about though, so I don't really want to comment on it. Listen, guys, we'll leave it there. It was always going to be a difficult reaction. You can't be too happy, you can't be too down, and it was what it was. It was a comfortable win. A few youth players got on the park. Desser's got himself a hat trick. So we shall see what the next few days have in store. We're back tomorrow afternoon, 12:30 for your afternoon rabble. Then we're back tomorrow night as well with your Monday night rabble. And then the members have got a special EPL show at 9 p.m. as well. So loads and loads of content tomorrow. Thank you for those of you who put in your super chats to help support the show. Thank you to everybody in the comments. I know it was never going to be the most glamorous reaction in the world, folks. So for those of you who joined us, I greatly appreciate it. Thank you to those who listen back on the audio downloads, and those of you on Patreon and Twitter. We're all over the place, man. I mean, our faces must just be plastered everywhere. And before I go, I might as well put up the greatest subscribe graphic of all time. Boom, there we go. Rangers Rabble, 12.6 thousand subscribers. So make sure that you are subscribed. Look at that wee finger.
It's almost as good as the question of the day.
Not quite as good as the question of the day, but it's nearly. It's nearly. So listen, Alex, Craig, thank you very much. Everybody who's tuned in, everybody who listens back, thank you very much. We shall speak to you soon, and enjoy the rest of your Sunday.